All right, we're looking at the Rams versus Houston in a matchup of fantasy roster. Got some good ones. Puka Nakua. All right, we got Puka Nakua coming up. We've got this battle of the tight ends. Of course, Nico Collins had a good year last year, too. The running backs, Joe Mixon versus Kyrene Williams, and quarterback CJ Stroud versus Matthew Stafford coming up. But we're going to start at wide receiver number 4. We're talking about Jalen Noel, brought in this year's draft from Iowa State. Was the second wide receiver taken from Houston. He's missing OTAs early. Supposed to be nothing serious on the injury. He's got to beat out John Mechie from a few years back's draft, and eventually Kirk to get some meaningful time in the slot. He's going up against Winnington, Jordan Winnington. Finished 116th last year, had 293 yards, got some early use while the Rams wide receivers were out. Puka and Cup last year. 24-24 standout in the preseason. Looked good. Everything was going good. And then he's good at blocking and, hey, some screen use too. So, got promise versus some. You see he missed a lot of those games that's more when the other players came back. So, hey, we're going to go with this Noel, right? Jalen Noel, player of the year contributor, co-special team, running back kicks and punts. He'll be doing a lot of that early, most likely. 80 passes for almost 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns. Strong Senior Bowl, helped elevate him into the round. A lot of people liked him. I liked him when going through the rookies. We're going to pick him. Better chance of getting some time. Christian Kirk, hey, he has to get in there and get past Christian Kirk for the slot, but we'll see how that evolves. We'll move on to backup quarterbacks. Davis Mills. He got into some action last year, 212 yards passing, ranked 30th out of the backup quarterbacks out of 32 by SI in the backup quarterbacks. So he has a 5-19 record. They did draft this Graham Mertz out of Florida deep in the draft as a possible competition later against Jimmy G. Jimmy G finished 54th, got into some action, a 17-point average, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, did good when he got to play. He has a career record of 57-25. Just unheard of. Most starters would love to have that record. Been in a lot of good situations, always on a good team, filling in, it seems like. You got Jimmy G as one of the best backups. Of course, we're going to go with Jimmy G. Not even a competition. Get off to a 1-1 quick score. Up next is running back number 3. Got a couple of rookies here. Woody Marks for Houston. Been in OTAs, looking pretty good. Hey, he's now we have Pierce and Ogwambe are in contract seasons and ain't really shaped up to be that much of a great backup. I mean, hey, having spots, but hey, he has good passing skills, can make guys miss. And that passing is kind of important because Nick Chubb isn't much of a receiving back. So he could get some early action because of that. That's up against Hunter. Jaquez Hunter brought in the same draft. Hey, second highest explosive rate among college running, that's 10 plus yards. Had the second highest explosive run rate. Kyrene Williams in the final year of his contract. That's probably why he was brought in after taking Blake Corum last year. Getting it stocked up behind him. So we currently got him number 3, but Blake Corum hasn't done that much. So this, something would happen to Williams. Well, this Hunter has a pretty good shot to get in there and get going. So between the two, we look at the schedule, 13th easiest schedule for the Rams at running back, 12th for the Houston. So they both got pretty good schedules. This is a close one. I'm probably going to go with, you see that, hey, Hunter is ranked 60th by the consensus, where Woody Marks is not ranked after that Chubb brought in. So we'll go with a Blake Corum kind of question mark. We'll go with Hunter. So we'll go with Hunter. Rams up 2-1. Up next, this is the running back 2. So you got Nick Chubb, brought in late, just recently signed him. Hey, finished 55th, of course, had an injury again last year, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns while he was in there. So he did get in some last year, sidelined the last 2 years, though, with knee and foot injuries. Is he in the end of his career, possibly? Of course, we got Blake Corum. Finished a disappointing 82nd overall last year, just 200 yards. Right, never more than 8 carries in a game. And they brought in this Hunter in the draft, kind of gives you a little clue on what they're thinking. Of course, we're going to go with Nick Chubb here. Can Nick Chubb get it going? Brought in, hey, he's, look at his yearly. He's been on the decline his last. But look at those previous years. But these injuries have really slowed him down. So, but you look back where he was almost getting 15 points a game, was one of the top running backs. So, we're just going to go with Chubb here. This Blake Corum, too many question marks with him. Little used, finished with 118 snaps. Just, they overused Kyren Williams probably to do it, but that might be a little story on Blake Corum because of that. So anyway, we're going to go with Nick Chubb. That evens it up 2-2. We're moving up to the wide receiver number 3. Brought in this year from the draft, Jaden Higgins, high draft capital. All right. Hey, pressing his teams with his size and his catching radius, big, efficient movement. Of course, high draft pick. They're bringing him in. Brought him in 34th overall. All right. Second round. GM says a great 1-2 punch with Nico on the outside. They brought him in because he's a great player, has the right mindset. Up against Tutu Atwell. Tutu Atwell, probably a little higher draft capital a few years back. 86th last year. 500 yards, did finally get in some action. He signed a 1-year, $10 million fully guaranteed contract to come back. Cup gone. Can he get into more action now? He's been used more of a gadget. Get him into space, get him the ball kind. So, hey, Rams re-signed a 10-year, 57th pick overall. So I guess Higgins here was a little higher, drafted 34th. So, but hey, been kind of a disappointment for Tutu up till now. And of course, you look at the team here, you got Devontae Adams and Puka up ahead of him. So, pretty solid though with this. Whittington is the 4, so Tutu should be the number 3, especially paying him all that money. And it's 8th schedule for them, right? So Rams going to be looking good, but 2 solid up ahead of him. We're going to go with Jaden Higgins here. Promising rookie. Hey, it's him and Nico probably to start out here. So, all right, Houston takes a 3-2 lead. We move on to the wide receiver number 2, Christian Kirk brought in. All right, Christian Kirk brought in 96th overall last year, got hurt. Says he's healthy now. Slot man for hire, $16 million he's getting paid this year. Had a season-ending fractured collarbone. Of course, brought in over on a trade. And then they go and take this Knoll in the draft who can play the slot. So it's kind of interesting. But, of course, this Christian Kirk, the interesting part is he's in the final year of his contract, getting paid a lot of money. But when they took him from Jacksonville, the contract come with him, didn't give him a new contract, restructured it a little bit, but did not give him beyond this year. So that's kind of telling. They bring in this Knoll. So Christian Kirk could be one and done in Houston as in the slot. Of course, he's going up against Puka. Puka Nacua finished 34th overall, but look at that fantasy average, 11.6. Had a great average, 900 yards, 3 touchdowns, toughness and physicality with great hands. But he has a history of getting injured because of that physicality a lot. Puts his body on the line. So, that's probably why a lot of people you can see here, they have him ranked 5th over in the preseason consensus ranking this year. And his teammate Devontae Adams, they had him 13th. I'm going against consensus here. I have Devontae Adams as the top just because of that injury history. Puka looks great when he's out there, but puts his body on the line a little bit too much for me to put a lot in there. You can see they had that great average. 11.6 is great, but of course you go to the teams, you see that he missed those 5 games, right? You can't have that missing time all the time. And that part of his ability is, lack of availability, but is putting that body on the line. Tough catches, right? That's what we're seeing every time on Puka. So I'm a little more secure with that Devontae Adams, right? But anyway, obviously we're going with Puka here. They've got him 5th overall. Position schedule's 8th. Everything's looking great for him. I would lay off of him. I'm not going to be taking Puka Nacua unless he's cheap, but he won't be. So I'm worried about the injury. I'm worried, of course, about Devontae Adams stealing a lot of the show there. So, all right, we go with Puka. And go on to the tight ends. These are pretty well two duds at tight ends. We have one ranked 25th and 32nd. Higbee coming back from that injury. Schultz, hey, 24th last year. Probably should expect about the same this year. 500 yards receiving. Hey, he was on the field for 77% of their plays, right? Lowest output in 5 years. Now they went to and they took a tight end, Luke Lachey here from Iowa, in one of the latter picks. So writing could be on the wall eventually. That could start as early as halfway through the season next year. How about Tyler Higbee, right? Finished 58th, but that's a pretty good average at 6.2 for a tight end. Missed a lot of games because of the injury, and he's on the decline possibly. And they brought in number 46 overall, Ferguson, a tight end out of Oregon, right? So, and this could be Higbee's last year under contract. See, he's under his contract for last year. So, both of these have draft prospects waiting in the wings. But we'll go with probably, look at that average difference. We have one at 6.2 and one at 3.8. Well, the Rams don't really use the tight ends too much. But we'll go with Higbee. All right. Even though they have consensus here, 25th, but I don't know, Schultz here. A lot of competition at wide receiver for him, too. But we're going to go with Higbee. Moving on to number 1 wide receivers. We got Nico Collins, right? Finished 22nd overall, but hey, that's because he missed games. Look at that 11.88 average. One of the best. 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's ranked top 5 in top 5 among wide receiver against man coverage or zone coverage. Just has an elite PFF grade of 92.3. She's going to be the number 1 target there for them. Just looking good for Nico Collins. 19th schedule isn't the best, but hey, we go up against here. Devontae Adams is brought in. Everybody's heard of Devontae Adams. Finished 12th last year, right? 11 points a game, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. Got hot late last year. Was after week 9 was one of the best. Ranked top 5 in both red zone targets and target share. Well, yeah, Aaron Rodgers locked in on him. He's now a number 2 running back or wide receiver. Well, of course, I got him as number 1 on the team. I think that, hey, you guys, I like drafting him over Puka. You're going to have to pay a lot more for Puka with that number 5 ranking. Devontae Adams, just look at those years. I mean, hey, look at those, just great. These are huge averages. 11.6. Hey, he's a great target for him to have. Red zone target. And I'm less worried about his health than I am Puka. Right? Anyway, I think he's going to be a great bargain. I'm going to be at now. Look at the averages here, though. Nico's no slouch here. Even though I'm going to pick Nico, I like Devontae Adams this year. Be looking to steal him. Hopefully he goes late because of Puka. But we'll give him Nico, though. Nico's a little better, number 1 there. And hope they have a bounce back season there. And he missed 5 games. If he don't miss those 5 games, right, he's on top. So don't be, look at that 36 touches, finished 22nd. Just shows you how efficient he was. Man, he had those missed games. So Nico Collins, we got him. That brings it to a 6-7 late. Now let's go to the running back, right? We have Joe Mixon. Finished 12th last year, 14 points a game, 11 touchdowns, 1,000 yards. Now, ready for the start of the training camp is in question, right? Ankle injury he aggravated, he kind of played with last year. They added Chubb late. Now, is this because of that ankle injury, or we don't know? I don't want to pull another Christian McCaffrey, and he holds out. Oh, he's doing great, and then year starts and he's not available or not ready. But hey, haven't been that far yet. We got a lot to go through preseason, so I ain't saying Joe Mixon's gonna miss, but we just don't know. Kyren Williams, overused, let's say. Finished 6th overall, 15 points. 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns. I mean, just great contract year, right? They keep bringing in competition to get ready for this contract year. Haven't given him a new contract. A lot of use. Has fumbling issues. Had 5 fumbles last year. But the big story is they keep adding depth behind him. Blake Corum was added, of course, the year before. And this year they go back to the draft and get Hunter. Are they preparing? Not so much for benching Kyren Williams, obviously. I mean, you're not going to do anything like that. But it's all about that contract year and his contract being up here at the end of 2025. So, like little use that in negotiations to get him back if they want him back. You know, hey, we look at him here, Blake or Kyren Williams. Hey, the efficiency's not so good. Number 3 in touches, 6th fantasy finish, and a lot of that's based on these touchdowns. So gets a lot of use. But of course, we're going to go with him over Joe Mixon, right? Hey, Rams got a good offense. Finished. They got the 13th easy schedule. Both have easy schedules, but that bringing in Chubb late, that kind of scares me more than bringing in all the drafts for Kyren Williams. So now I'm going to probably lay off Kyren Williams in the draft. Let other people take the risk. But we'll see how that goes as it gets closer where they're going to be ranked. They currently got him ranked 8th. And he finished 6th. Anyway, so that puts it to a 6-10. Moving on to the last one. It's the quarterback to decide it. We've got C.J. Stroud had a great rookie year. Not so good last year. Finished 17th. Had injuries at wide receiver. Down a little bit. Good defense this year, Houston. Stroud regressed, of course, last year. Got a new offensive coordinator. Comes over from the Rams. And is this the Nick Colley Bowl set up for this first week? And not a good quarterback running, right? You see that 233 yards and no touchdown. So you get nothing out of the legs from him. It's all the arm. Going up against another statue out there, Matthew Stafford. Finished 19th overall last year. 20 touchdowns, 3,700 yards, 37-year-old. They looked around and they finally signed him back for these last 2 years, but was kind of shopped around or looked around for a trade this year, but they brought him back. Good thing they did. He's got a lot to work with, right? We said Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, right? So, and maybe they don't focus on the run so much. But, hey, number 10 team in passing last year versus the number 21 team in passing. So, as we said, neither get anything from rushing. Look at that. 41 yards, no touchdowns. So, no rushing ability. That's why they're ranked 22nd and 21st, right? So, but Houston has a good defense. I don't know that they're going to be needing to play from behind so much. So, I'm going to go with Stafford. Matthew Stafford have a good year this year. That gives the Rams the victory at 14-6. Let's take a look at this.